Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at EGLD. Before we jump into the price action, I just want to say thank you for watching. If you're enjoying the content, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description you'll find a link to Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. Once in the general chat area, just add mention member staff. Will be happy to help you out with anything you may need. Okay, so let's get into the fun stuff now. So EGLD seems to have had this lovely little move to the upside here. So we're going to be discussing a couple of options within this. And I think it's important that we just quickly, before we go into that, we talk about a few things here. So potentially we were talking about the possibility of this being a 5-wave structure, and we were talking about a couple of things within this move here. And we were talking about the possibility that effectively we could still look to complete a diagonal here to the downside, and that would be looking at something like this. Either something like this, where we actually form this as a 1, 2, and then we actually look to form a deeper third, fourth, and a fifth wave to the downside, where we actually look at this as being the wave 2, looking for a potential zigzag in this area. So this is the zone that we could face rejection, this 5809 to this 5559. An important area here when we're looking at this is actually to get back above this 63.99. If we do happen to move above this zone, then effectively it would invalidate this count as we have it shown here. However, we can still argue that we can also look at this from further back and that our fourth wave actually completes there. In which case, what we could also be looking for is the potential that we have something like this as an expanding diagonal within this, this is a 1, 2, 3, looking for a fourth wave, and then actually looking to push down one more time for this fifth. So if we do get something like this, I'm just going to go off of the current structure, but effectively this wave 5 would have to actually be longer than this wave 3. So that would mean it'd have to move down past this 27.93. So this is still a possibility. We do have a bullish option here, so we're going to talk about that. We can argue that somehow we've completed into this low here, though it doesn't really fit within this 5-wave structure, because there's not great structure within here to counter 5-wave move, unless you want to call this a 1, 2 with a flat. Then this is a 3, 4, 5. It's not my greatest interpretation, but it can be possible that actually we do look to complete into this low point, and then from there we could actually just look to move to the upside. But I am still being wary and still looking for that potential for that downside. The alternative is looking at this move rather as a WXY XZ. Hold on one second, let me remove this other count. Where's it gone? There we go. Where we look at this as basically a connector wave, where this is a W and X. We come down into here as a Y. This is another X wave. And then we could look for this continuation in an A, a B, and a C. So we can also move this X wave up if we want to, and then look at this as an ABC into here. And then basically that would change the support zone here, this rejection zone here. But for the most part, I am still looking at this possibility from this location here. If we do move above the 63.99, it would depend how we do so as to whether we can look for this as a bullish potential as completed into this low, because it is also possible that we can argue that this is completed short here. But primarily, I would like to see at least another leg to the downside here, just to complete the pattern off nice and neat. Okay, so now we're going to go into the shorter term view that we were talking about here. I'm actually just going to turn off everything else. So we were talking about the potential of counting this as a 5-wave move here, and then we could, so we've got two options here. Either we can look at this as a really short B wave or wave 2, and then basically we're looking to progress to the upside in that C wave or a wave 3 potentially. But it is also possible that this could be a sneaky overshooting B wave here. We get something like this as an A, B, and a C to the downside. So that is something we just need to bear in mind within the structure. I'm just going to actually turn it on because I have that option marked out here. Effectively, what we'd be looking for is a move like this, where this is an A wave, this becomes a B, and then actually we look to break down again in a C wave to the downside. So for as long as we hold this high of this, what is this area? this 54.42, we can potentially be looking for a move to the downside in a C wave. So if we do start to see some 5-wave structure develop here, where this becomes a 1, 2, potentially a 3 further down here, it would actually overshoot this zone, thinking about it, if we were looking for wave 3. The structure to the downside does look more like a 3-wave move. Okay, so that would be that 1618 would be this 42.57. If we do look at that as a 1, 2, what we'd be looking for is potentially this 3, 4, and a 5 to the downside. So this would be looking for actually coming back down one more time into this zone, and looking to potentially come a little bit lower. We were hoping to actually come back towards this 3909 as a retracement zone. So it is possible that we could still see this happen. This move to the upside here, we can count it in a few ways, so we're going to go over that. And effectively what we could be looking for then is actually that this is still within a B wave move here, and we could then look to progress from there. So we need to just be a little bit wary of this move to the upside here. If it does start to break down and become an impulsive move to the downside, this could be something that plays out. For as long as we actually hold this 40.53 zone, we can also argue that we do have some bullish potential here. So we're going to discuss that, and we're going to talk about a couple of different things here. So I'm going to talk about this one. So let me turn off that 5-wave move just so that it actually cleans this up. So looking at this move here, we can also argue we've just had a shallow B wave here. So what we're looking for is potentially counting this as an A, a B, and then actually looking for this C wave to come up towards this 59.37. So this is still a possibility. We could still see this move come to the upside here, though we need to see how it progresses. Effectively, where we're currently sitting, we can see that 1-to-1 is up there, but we've actually come up towards this 786 already. So we've passed the 702. So technically speaking, we can argue that this could be a completed move. It is, however, possible this could look to extend up some more. So we're going to discuss that. Effectively, the way you would have to look at this if you're talking about it potentially being completed early over here is you'd have to look at this move as a diagonal, where this basically you have this move subdivided into 3 here. You get this wave 2, 3-wave move for wave 3, zigzag, and then basically another 3-wave move for this 5th wave into this high. And then what we'd be looking for is actually looking for this move to start to break down, where this becomes a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We get a small retracement up here, looking for that wave 2, and then it actually starts to break down. So this is currently what I'm keeping an eye on. If we do, however, break down and find support in this zone of this 46.95 and this 43.13, so in between this zone, is like some key areas here would be interesting. One would be this golden pocket here, which would actually be testing some of these high points lower down here. So this would be an interesting zone. The 50% also would be a retest of some of these highs. So we'll have to see if we do actually start to break down within this move, or if we do continue to the upside here. So effectively, we wouldn't really want to come up anymore here. If we're looking at this potentially as a diagonal to complete here. If we do break this high again of this 54.42, you know, it's more likely we have one of the other options playing out, and we're going to discuss those now. So this still does actually have the potential to come back down and be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, and then this would actually look to push high enough that we could then count this as another 1, 2. If we did actually retrace down here to this 46.95 to this 43.13, and then have this bigger push up here towards the 73 zone, effectively what this would do is it would invalidate those bearish potentials, and the only way we could really look at this again as a fourth or as a connective is we'd have to take this as an A, a B, and a C. So we still have to be careful, even after completing a bigger 5-wave move here, that it isn't just a connector wave here, and that this is all just a X wave, and then we could still see some downside after that. So we'll have to sort of take this one step at a time and see how we progress with that. But effectively moving down, finding support and pushing up to the 73 could give us this 5-wave move, which could look to target out towards this 81.86 to this 76.37. Like I said though, if we do move up into this zone, then we would be anticipating another 1, 2, 3, and then basically looking for that additional 4th wave to the downside. If this does play out, we could potentially come back and back test some of these areas with this 4th, and then actually look for this to progress to the upside here. So, you know, we need to, obviously this needs to prove itself. This is just theoretical at the moment. We don't have enough structure to confirm this, but holding this 40.52 and this 56.95 to this 43.13 zone could indicate that this is playing out. So the other way we can look at this is we can break it down slightly differently, and what we can argue is that within this structure we could actually start to see some, I'm going to come down into smaller time frames here actually. So if we want to rather count this wave, so this move to the upside, like I said, we can just subdivide it in the middle here and say that this is a 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5, and then basically that's 1 2, or basically A, B, and C to the upside. Alternatively, we can count it 1 2, this whole move into here becomes a 3, a 4, and then we get this fifth wave pushing up strong like this. So, you know, this is a possibility, and we'll have to see. It needs to prove itself. Like I said, if this is the case, what we could then argue is that we actually did come down to the 50% with this move here. It was quite a strong move, but it didn't take very long. So it is also possible we do revisit this zone where this becomes an A wave, this all is a B wave, and we break down for that C wave again, and that we actually look to move into this zone. The thing is, if we do that, it would invalidate the current count that I'm looking at here, but it is still possible we can still do that and just be within this wave too. So we just need to bear that in mind. So this is looking for a direct breakout from this current location. What we'd be looking at then is that potentially we can count this as a 1 up into here, flat, basically 3 4 5 4 5 up into there, and then what this would be is a 5 wave structure into this high. Sorry, I counted that like a chop. Effectively 1 2 3 4 5 into this high. This is a flat for wave 2, and then potentially a 1 2 3 4 and a 5 to the upside here. This would be a triangle A B C D E, so 5 into there. If this is the case, what we could then argue is that we could be looking to try and find support here at this 51.58 to this 50.60 zone. This would be the area we'd have to hold for this count to continue to be viable. And what we'd be looking for is actually for this to start to progress to the upside here. And the zone we'd be looking for effectively would be looking to push up past this 57.99 area with this wave 3, and then looking for that 4th and a 5th. And then basically if we do move up high enough to the 62.17 area, what we could then argue is that we have this as a 1 2 1 2, and then basically this whole move here, this green move, would be within this teal 5 wave move, 3rd wave here. And the problem is we can see here that just moving up to this 1618 wouldn't actually take us into this zone. So we have to be careful here that if we want to look for this bullish count, we have to hit this target. But then as well as that, we can see how this wave, this 5th wave, wouldn't actually be high enough to take us into this 3rd wave here, this 75.45. So this is the current confirmation area. We don't have the current structure though to say that we are going to move up into this. So I'm a little bit reluctant to say this is probable, but if we do maintain this 50-cent range and we hold this support range that we got here, this 51.58 to this 50.60 range, like I said, you know, we can potentially form this as a 1 2, then we'd form another 1 2 here, and then actually that would look to push us up higher, which could then have a knock-on effect and actually push us up into this zone here of this bigger 3rd wave for this 75.45. Though also, like I said, you know, we need to just be careful that we don't start to break down where this has just been an A, a B, and then a C. We're going to get to the downside, or alternatively this could have completed into here as a C wave. It's met the minimum requirement, and we could then actually look to break down to that support box again, potentially looking at this as just a 3-wave move. The problem is if this completes as a 3-wave move here, it would be highly likely then that we would be coming to actually break this 32-31 area. Though first we'd have to make sure if we're looking for that bearish option that we break this $40.52. For as long as we remain above this area, we can still see, like I said, you know, that come back down here, find support in this range, and then start to move away. Okay, so some interesting key areas here. I'll jump back out here onto the daily actually. Would be these high points, like I said, and you know, these could be quite interesting zones if we do move up into them. So I just want to throw this on as well. We can see we're currently battling with the 200-day moving average, EMA rather. So this is also an interesting area. We could actually just face a rejection off here. And if we were talking about this potentially coming back down, we can see that the 50-day is sitting lower down in this region where we're talking about for that support. So if we do see a move to the downside, I'll be keeping an eye on this 50-day EMA and seeing if we manage to find support on it, and then look to actually come back and attack this this 200 EMA again. Also, one thing I did want to say is on the weekly, we can see that this 50-week EMA is also slightly higher up here at this so this would be at what, $71 roughly. So you know, if we do continue to push up here, that could actually look for a challenge of this top, sort of testing out this EMA and then actually looking for a break back down to the downside. So we'll have to see how this all plays out, but it would be definitely an interesting area. We've also got obviously some of this previous support here, and obviously this resistance that we found over here. So yeah, I mean, if we do move up, that would be an interesting zone. The Ichimoku cloud is quite an interesting one as well. We've just managed to break through it, but we haven't come back and back tested it, or sort of it hasn't turned green either. So you know, these sort of things can happen. You can see we broke through here and then we failed to hold it, and then actually we just broke back down. So it'll be interesting to see whether we can manage to hold this zone, and then see whether we actually come back for a retest of the cloud here and then look to push back up one more time, or whether we actually just break back under this, retest it, and actually look to continue to the downside. So these are all important things that we just need to keep an eye on the background as well. Okay everyone, I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below in the comment section. Always happy to hear from you. Drop us a comment down there. Like I said, we'll get back to you. Also in the description you'll find a link to Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. Once in the general chat area, just mention a member of staff. We'll be happy to help you out with anything you may need. In the description below you'll also find affiliate links for both PrimeXBT and BYBIT, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis for our trading. If you are going to be trading, please use correct risk management though. Use a stop loss. You know, only use what you are willing to lose, and then you need to also just position yourselves correctly within trades so that you're not, you know, entering at bad times and stuff like that. But check out the Discord. You know, like I said, it's free to join. The trader tier is got a lot of useful information in it. Okay everyone, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have a great day. See you in the next one.